You're watching Fox 9 News with your host, Derek Bratwood.
Hi, I'm Derek Bratwood. Welcome to Honors English 12. Today we'll be discussing gender roles in different eras of literature. Thank you for your time. We're going to go to Chase Monger to discuss gender roles in the Canterbury Tales. One. Thanks, Derek. In the Wife of Bath's tale from the Canterbury Tales, we learn quite a bit about relationships and gender roles of the medieval times. Our main character, the Wife of Bath, also known as Alice, describes her views on love and courtship. Alice thinks that it is perfectly acceptable to marry many times. She thinks that the Bible says that it is preferable not to marry and to remain chaste, but it is not forbidden to marry. God gave no commandment as to how many times one can marry. She also backs up her argument by saying, "Look at the wise King Solomon. I believe he had more than one wife." Throw me a book. We see this on page 162 of the Wife of Bath's tale. Love also is not important in the medieval times relationships or marriages. In the first 4 of her 5 marriages, the Wife of Bath did not love her husbands. Marriage was based on tradition, and love was not necessary for both the man and wife. And love was not necessary for both the man and wife to benefit from it. For example, the Wife of Bath got all of her husband's wealth, and in turn, she pleased him sexually. Wife of Bath discovered this when she fell in love with her 5th husband, and he was able to control her. According to the Wife of Bath, must dominate the relationship. The relationship, whether it be the man or the woman, one must control the other. Most often in the Wife of Bath's case, the woman controlled the man. We further see the importance of one person's dominance in a relationship in the story that she tells. In the story, the man gives in to his wife and tells her that she has complete control over him. The man says to his wife, "My dear, I put myself under your control." That's from Chaucer, 191. In medieval relationships, women are generally not trusted either. The Wife of Bath says, "Why do you hide your keys and your strongbox from me? What good is it to question and to spy on me?" This shows that husbands often did not trust their wives. They believed their wives would steal from them and cheat on them if they have the chance. This is because women in medieval relationships generally act very sneaky. The Wife of Bath is a great example of this because of the sneaky medieval woman, because she finds a way to control her husbands and get money from them. Is that still going? In conclusion, men in medieval times tried to court their wives, court women who cannot and will not trick them. Women also look for possible personal gains in the relationships that she has. And one of the 2 people in a relationship will control the other. Back to you, Derek.
Derek Bratwood! A quick shout out to our sponsor, San Pellegrino. San Pellegrino, Italian taste in your home.
And now we're going to go to yours truly to discuss Taming of the Shrew. The desired traits in this play for women to possess was obedience. The worth of a woman was determined by how willing she was to agree with and adhere to their master. This is why Katharina was so looked down upon early in the play. She was independent and witty. The ideal woman is described in Kate's speech in Act 5, Scene 2. She says women are, quote, bound to serve, love, and obey. Petruchio is seen as having the best wife, at the end because Kate is the most obedient. Kate goes from being independent and strong-willed to being loyal and submissive. This is seen as positive growth in the play, which is a little bit twisted due to the expectations of the time. And now we're going to go to Chase to discuss Huckleberry Finn.
In the adventures of Huckleberry Finn, gender roles are portrayed very distinctly. Women tend to assume the caretaker role. The widow takes Huck in and cares for him. Not only does she choose to take care of Huck, but she tries to make him civilized as well. The way women act in this book is very proper and civilized. They are respectable figures in society who, while still not on the same level as men, have some equality. We also see women assume the role of a caretaker when Aunt Sally offers to adopt Huck Finn. We also see how women are very civilized and proper people because Huck and Tom drive Aunt Sally crazy when they cause messes and act childish. We learn about the bonds of marriage and family from this book. The Grangerfords and Shepherdsons are true to each other, themselves, I should say. Whether either of the wives think that the feud is silly, they still support their husbands fully. The fact that the judge gives Mr. Finn custody of Huck and Huck's money shows the value that men are providers for their family. No matter what the circumstances, the man should still take care of his children and have power over them. We also learn that women are witty and skeptical. They do not trust men or women's intentions. When Huck stays with the Wilkes' girls, they do not seem to fully trust him, but they also must behave properly and treat their guests with courtesy. Women during this time were, of course, skeptical of men's intentions whenever they were interacting with them. In conclusion, women are civilized and courteous. And on to Ken.
Thanks, Chase. In Interpretive Maladies, one can see a more modern gender role display with the Doss family. There isn't a specific caretaker role that Mrs. Doss has. She has a more modern look where women have more opportunities in the workforce. And with the traditional Indian culture and the other chapters such as Mrs. Sen's, the women have a more traditional role as the caretaker in the family. They cook for the husbands and they make sure that they take care of them. So there definitely is a more modern look with the gender roles in Interpretive Maladies, definitely more than The Wife of Bath and the earlier novels where they display a more fixed role that the women play. As in Interpretive Maladies, the women are much more modern in what they do. Thanks. Let's go to Jake Weldon.
First, we're going to look at the gender roles displayed in I Love Lucy.
All right, girls. Now, this is your last chance. If one piece of candy gets past you and into the packing room unwrapped, you're fired. I think we're fighting a losing game. Here she comes. Fine, you're doing splendidly. Speed it up a little.
Listen, we don't know how you girls feel about it, but we like to forget the whole thing. We're lousy housewives. Hideous.
Well, we're not so good at bringing home the bacon either. We got fired off our first job.
Yeah.
Well, look, let's say we go back to the way we were.
All right, now we're going to look at an interview with Vicki Gunvalson, who is one of the housewives on The Real Housewives of Orange County, and how that shows the current gender roles of women.
Enjoy the ball game today?
She is one of the original housewives, but also a very successful businesswoman in her own right. This weekend, Vicki Gunvalson is here in Vegas to talk to ladies about finance.
I am.
So this is not so much the drama, more
Right.
about the serious stuff
Well,
this
this is
weekend.
my real job.
Right.
I have an insurance and financial services business, and I think women are somewhat a little bit naive to what they have to do to prepare for themselves, for the unknown.
Sure.
Such as they get sick, or there's a death, or a divorce, or all the different things that happen to our lives. And even if they're a single woman, they have to take care of their finances.
And this weekend, you can go and see Vicki. She is going to be, you're going to be giving your best tips to the local ladies.
Mhm, I am. And you know what, there's a lot of people coming from out of state as well, and so we're really excited. I've got a lot to say to them, and I've only got 45 minutes to an hour, so
Right.
I'm going to do my best to get every important topic out there that they can actually take home with them and implement right away. So
What would you say is kind of the takeaway, the big picture idea that you want to get across to people this weekend?
I think it's my life lesson is really important. You know, at 19, I was dating my first husband. At 20, I got married. I wanted to be a mom and a wife, and I wasn't looking for a career. I didn't have a college education. I just wanted to be a mom and a wife, just like my mom was. And then, unfortunately, at 29, I got divorced, and I had to really figure it out. And I got into the insurance business and realized I wasn't the only one as a woman at 29 or 30 without a career trying to figure out what to do. And I realized not only my friends that were married at that time have gotten divorced, and they were a stay-at-home mom. They had to figure out how to support themselves. And so my goal is to just really educate women that we can't depend upon anybody else for our own financial freedom, and just really take care of ourselves. We're an individual.
Yeah, absolutely. You have to make sure that that financial part at some point is separate too. So if something does happen, be prepared.
Things will happen. Typically, we're not going to die the same day as our spouse. We're not going to be inheriting millions of dollars in these trust accounts that people think one day they will. We have to really just prepare for the unknown, and the unknown is we don't know what's going to happen.
Exactly.
Right?
So the first video is an episode of I Love Lucy, and it perfectly exemplifies like the stereotypical roles of women. Even at the end of it, her husband, Lucy's husband, just blatantly says that he's not able to do a woman's job, and a woman is not able to do a man's job. A woman is not able to bring home the bacon, I think they say. And that was one of the huge stereotypes during the 50s of that time. But then when we get to that second video with Vicki Gunvalson, who was one of the girls on The Real Housewives of Orange County, I think, it is able to show that how the gender roles have changed so much, because she is a single woman who has started her own business and who provides for a family, and who is also very wealthy, and who has done that all without a man. She has taken on all the gender roles that were so-called not able to be taken on during the era of I Love Lucy. And that's how you're able to see that those gender roles have changed over the course of 60 years.
Thanks, Jake. That was very deep. I really hope that you guys gained a better understanding of the evolution of gender roles throughout time. Thank you for watching our project. Stay tuned for some dancing!